Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to, you guessed it, another omnibus review. This one is okay. I'm going to get the rough part out of the way. Dave Sim, while he made some major contributions to the independent publishing notion, especially when it comes to comic books, had a little thing that happened. I don't know all the truth of the matter, and from his own words, nothing technically illegal, but definitely pretty suspicious. And I'll get into that later on, not today, not in this video, because I really want to just look at the work of the man who literally did it all when it comes to what's in this omnibus. He did everything, the writing, the drawing, the lettering, everything. Went and said, I'm going to do, I think, 300 issues by a certain point, and did that all by himself. He later got help from one other guy who only magnified the absolute beauty of the work in the way of the artistic style. But this guy did the backgrounds, and I'll talk about him later because he's not in this version. Cerebus the Aardvark, basically a spoof on Conan the Barbarian, and I thought it only appropriate that I follow up the Conan omnibus with something a little lighter, but at the same time a little darker as things progress. I think there's 10 or more omnibuses to compile the 300 issues that he did, spoofing on everybody from Groucho Marx to the Black Knight, Elric of Melbourne, Conan, well, not Conan, he's a spoof of Conan, Red Sonja, The Tick, Moon Knight, Wolverine, just mixing all kinds of genres, but still keeping it fantasy oriented, and not spoofing in the activities, but the dialogue and the characters and the situations. But the overall arcing themes were definitely very sword and sorcery, fantasy, and I remiss, I didn't mention Man Thing is in here, and Woman Thing, I think it was just literally one of the funniest comic books I've ever read without being ridiculously cartoony or silly. And I got my first couple of copies of Cerebus way back in the 80s, around issue 20 to 24, and I always wished I could have followed it all the way before I knew what I know. And even then, that's not going to stop me from continuing to find out what his work was all about all the way to the end. He and I have some similar opinions on things and some dissimilar opinions, but it was one of those things that I never thought I would be able to pick up. And I got this one. I probably paid the most for the number one. I've only got, I think, up to Church and State 2, which I think is omnibus number 4. And these were the original phone books. This is like the original omnibus, which I don't think it ever existed. I don't know how many pages this is, but is that a 5? There's over 500 pages in this one, and he published these himself, kind of cut out a lot of the nonsense with the whole publishing of comic books and keeping everything his own, to the point where he said that when he dies, or at least not just said, but he's arranged that this will become public domain and people can do whatever they want with it. He was very generous in that respect, I guess. I don't know. We'll see if it actually happens or if he sells it or whatever. But he's still working to this day. So regardless of what incident happened way back a million years ago. Whether it's true or not, in his own words, he was a bit of a scumbag in the day, and he did a lot of drugs and experimentation. But the art and the story is really unlike anything else I own in my collection, and I'm going to continue to read and review these. The first one is far more, I'll just say, kind of ridiculous and silly, but not to the point of tick levels of silly and ridiculous, but just just trying to be funny, but also inserting certain messages throughout the course of his journey with the life of Cerebus. I hope you guys will at least give it a try. I know for the most part, at least this volume could be just about anybody's cup of tea, especially if you're a fan of Conan or Elric or Red Sonja, Wolverine, Moon Knight, Swamp Thing, Sword and Sorcery in general. I think you could definitely find something to appreciate. Not to mention, I'm going to show you one particular image. The characters, the expressions, the skill this man had when it came to creating a comic book is just phenomenal, and it only gets better from this issue. But I'm going to see if I can hold this image up. It's kind of simple, a couple of characters standing around some very large posts that have been tied together for some contraption or another. But take a look at that. And leave it there for a second so it'll focus better. But like I said, it just gets better from here on out. I haven't read the fourth one I got a couple of months ago because I've been reading other things, but I will get to it. Don't expect these like rapid fire in a hurry. Maybe a couple of months before I get to number 2, and I'll keep going on. The rest of the videos obviously will be shorter, and at some point I will talk about Dave Sim and the incident. But you can go out there and find it. There's really not a lot of information on it, and like I said, I don't know that I believe everything about it, both positive and negative. Not that there's a whole lot positive, but I could see how stories get taller on down the line. But that's what I got for you guys this morning. I hope you guys, like I said, will give it a shot. Maybe you can find a used copy. They're not that expensive, $20-30 for 500 pages of some of the best written, funniest, darkest, most amazing artwork I've ever seen. Even Conan and what I just reviewed, they're like right there at the same level of art. And like I said, he's, unlike some of the other artists, he's still in the business, still doing his thing. God knows how long he'll do it, but that's what I got for you this morning. We'll see you again later in the week when I get back to catching up with the God Wars, and I will have another comic book review, and hopefully if I can squeak it out, an actual game supplement rules kind of thing for you gamers out there. I don't want to veer too far off my roots, but it's all part of where I get my opinions and my thoughts on the hobbies that we all enjoy together. So I will see you guys later on this week. Have a great one, and until next time, happy trails.